Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Inshallah, we're going to begin Unit 2 of Book 1 of Al-Arabiyyah Bayna Yadayk Volume 1. And Unit 2 will be about the family. So last week we did Unit 1, which was about greetings and getting acquainted. And now we're going to be doing Unit 2. And the first conversation is on page 25. And it is called about the family, a picture of the family. الحوار الأول, the first conversation. حوار بين علي وعمار, a conversation between Ali and Ammar. السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام. هذه صورة أسرتي. This is a picture of my family. ما شاء الله, it is what Allah wills. من هذا? Who is this? هذا والدي عدنان. هو مهندس. This is my father Adnan. He is an engineer. ومن هذه? And who is this? هذه والدتي سعيدة. هي طبيبة. And this is my mother سعيدة. She is a doctor. ومن هذا? هذا أخي عيسى. هو طالب. And who is this? This is my brother Isa. He is a student. ومن هذه? And who is this? هذه أختي عبلة. This is my sister عبلة. هي معلمة. She is a teacher. وهذا جدي وهذه جدتي. And this is my grandfather and this is my grandmother. ما شاء الله. It is how Allah wills. So in conversation 1, we see that they're talking about a picture of the family. So surah with the sawd means picture. With the sin it means a chapter from the Quran, as we all know. But with the sawd it means picture. And the word usra means family. So if from Unit 1 we know that if you put a ya at the end, it gives the meaning of mine. So usrati means my family. And something that we see new in Unit 1 is that we're putting nouns together to make an up relationship again. So هذه suratu usrati. So Ali, he said suratu, and then he joined it to the word usrati. So what happened is, this is a picture of my family. This is the picture of my family. So he made an up relationship just by putting two nouns together. So this is the picture of my family, or a picture of my family. This is the picture of my family. And Ammar replies, MashaAllah. And this means this is what Allah will. This is what we say when we want to express pleasure that someone has something good. We say MashaAllah, this is what Allah wills. Now Ammar he asks, Man hada? Man is the question word for who. And we know hada means this from last unit. And Ali replies, Hada walidi Adnan. And he's saying, this is my father Adnan. And he is an engineer. So now we see a new topic, and that is the idea of the badal, the substitute. Just like in English, if you say this is my father, that would be sufficient. But you would add another word Adnan as an explanatory note or a substitute, so that Adnan would substitute for your father. Same way in Arabic, he said Hada walidi Adnan. It would have been sufficient for him to say Hada walidi, but he added an extra word after it as an explanation or substitute for it, and he said Adnan. So Hada walidi Adnan. This is my father Adnan. And likewise, he said Hadihi walidati Sa'ida. Hadihi because his mother is feminine. Hadihi walidati Sa'ida. Walida is the feminine for walid, which means, so walid is father, walida is mother, walidati is my mother. Hadihi walidati Sa'ida. This is my mother Sa'ida. Hiya tabiba. She is a doctor. And mu'allima is the word for teacher. And his sister Abla is a teacher. And Jud means grandfather. And just like we have seen many times, adding a round ta marbuta at the end makes it feminine to mean grandmother. On page 26 is conversation 2. The second conversation, it is about the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I'll read it. Omar said, هل هذه شجرة? Is this a tree? Uthman says, نعم هذه شجرة. هذه أسرة رسول sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, this is a tree. This is the family of the Prophet, of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we know that whenever we hear the name of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we should say sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it had the meaning, may Allah praise him and give him peace, or may Allah have mercy on him and give him peace. Uthman, هذا والده عبد الله. And this is his father, Abdullah. And we see that he added hu to the word walid to give the meaning his father. So just like how we added ka to the end of a word to mean your, for example, ismuka, your name, and we add ya to the end of a word to mean mine, to ismi, mine. Well, to make it belong to somebody else that we're talking about in the third person, we would add hu. So waliduhu means his father. So هذا waliduhu Abdullah, and Abdullah is badal wa walid, waliduhu. This is his father, Abdullah. Umar, وهذه والدته Amina, and this is his mother, Amina. Uthman, وهذا جده عبد المطلب, and this is his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib. وهذا عمه العباس, وهذا عمه العباس. Am means his paternal uncle. In Urdu we would say chacha or taya, and ammu means the father's brother. وهذا عمه حمزة, وهذه عمته صفية, and this is his paternal aunt, his pupu or his father's sister, Sophia. وهذا ابنه القاسم, وهذا ابنه عبد الله. Ibni means son, Ibna means daughter. So, but make sure that you drop the alif when you're in the middle of the speech. So we would not say هذا ابنه القاسم. You would say هذا ابنه القاسم, وهذا ابنه عبد الله. Not هذا ابنه عبد الله. We would say هذا ابنه عبد الله. Uthman says وهذا ابنه إبراهيم, وهذه ابنته فاطمة. And this is his son Ibrahim, and this is his daughter Fatima. وهذه ابنته فاطمة, وهذه ابنته رقية, وهذه زينب. And this is his daughter Ruqayya, وهذه زينب, and this is Zainab, وهذه ابنته أم كلثوم, and this is his daughter كلثوم. On page 27 is conversation 3, and this is where we're going to have the most new material in this unit. It's a conversation between the mother and the father about what their children are doing. Al-Um is mother, and Al-Ab is the father. Al-Um, هذا أذان الفجر. This is the adhan of Fajr. And we see that the word Al-Fajr had a kasra at the end. So when we have two words put together to make an of relationship, we will call this Irapa. Then the second word has a kasra at the end. So that's why Al-Fajr has a kasra at the end, instead of the default ending of Dhamma. So هذا أذان الفجر. Al-Ab, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. He's repeating after the adhan. And Allah Akbar. Allah, we know the name, is the name of the great name of Allah. And Akbar means bigger. Allahu Akbar, bigger than anything else. Al-Ab, أين الأولاد? أين means where. أولاد, children. So أين الأولاد? Where are the children? Al-Um, سعد في الحمام يتوضأ. Sa'd is in the bathroom, in the washroom, doing wudu. He's doing wudu. And we learn a new harf here, a new participle, a new particle, fi. And fi here means in. But remember, a harf had no meaning unless it comes with something else. So we cannot always say fi always mean in. Sometimes it means upon, sometimes it means in, and sometimes it means on, depending on the context. So Sa'dun fil hammami yatawadda. He is in the Sa'd is in the washroom doing wudu. Al-ab. وأين سعيد? And where is Sa'id? Al-ummu. سعيد في الغرفة يقرأ القرآن. Sa'idun is Sa'id in the room reading Quran. Ghurfa is room. Yaqra'u means to read. Al-Quran is Al-Quran, the book of Allah. Al-ab. وأين سعيدة? And where is Sa'ida? Al-um. سعيدة في المصلى تصلي. سعيدة في سعيدة في المصلى تصلي. Sa'ida is in the musalla, the place of prayer, praying. Al-ab. أين المعطف يا سعد? أين المعطف يا سعد? Where is the معطف? The overcoat, O سعد. سعد. هذا هو المعطف يا والدي. This is the overcoat, O father, my father. Al-ab. وأين النظارة يا سعيد? And where are the glasses, O سعيد? سعيد. هذه هي النظارة يا والدي. Here are the glasses, O father, O my father. Al-ab. هيا بنا إلى المسجد. Come with, let's go to the masjid. سعد وسعيد هيا بنا. Let's go. So we learned some new words here. Ghurfa means room. Nadwara means glasses. And we're learning something called verbs. Up to now we haven't talked about any kind of action here. So I have to make a distinction between what is a noun or ism in Arabic and what is an action or in Arabic fi'lun. A noun or ism is something that points to a meaning in and of itself, but it's not associated to any one of the three time periods, past, i.e. past, present, or future. A fi'l or action is a word that indicates a meaning by itself and is associated with one of the three time zones. So the very first action that we encounter here is the word yatawadda. Yatawadda means to do wudu. And when we learn new verbs, we're going to learn the past, present, and the noun form of the verb whenever possible. The noun for the action. So to do wudu, we would learn tawadda, yatawadda'u, tawaddu'an, to do wudu. So let's focus on the middle one. Actually, the middle one, the second one, is the present tense. Yatawadda'u. The other verb that we see here is yaqra'u. Yaqra'u means he's reading. So qara'a in the past, yaqra'u in the present, qira'a, the act of reading. And we also see that the word al-Quran, yaqra'u al-Quran, has a fatha at the end. So nouns usually have a dhamma, but here a noun will take a fatha at the end when it is the detail of an action. So here it is the object of the reading. What did he read? He read the Quran, so he has a fatha on it. It has a fatha on the end of the Quran because it is the object of the action of reading. It received it. Musalla is a place of prayer. Ya is a particle that's used to call someone. So Ya Sa'ad means O Sa'ad. And ila in the word hayya bina ila al-masjid means to. So it forces the next word to take kasra at the end of it, just like the other huruf or harf that we've seen before, like min and ala and the letter ba and the letter lam. Just like those letters, ila forces the word after it to take kasra. So that's why we see ila al-masjid, we see a kasra at the end of al-masjid. And masjid literally means the place of sujood, from sajada yasjudu. So words that rhyme with this pattern, maf'il, they denote the meaning of a place where an action is performed. Okay, so before we move on, let's take a quick look at where we stand. So from this unit and the one before, we've learned several pronouns with their detached and attached versions. We learned some question words, and we have learned some harfs or particles. So the detached pronouns, for example, for I, you for male, you for female, he and she, ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya, respectively, and their attached versions, the ya, the ka, ki, hu, and ha at the end. We've learned the attached pronouns for I, the ya, for you, anta, ka, for you feminine, ki, for he, for he, we would say hu, and for she, we have not learned that yet, but I will tell you what it is. It's ha alif. So if you wanted to say walidu, her father, you would say waliduha, just like we said waliduhu for his father. We learned some question words for what, where, how, who, and is. So what would be ma, where, aina, how, kaifa, who, man, and is hal. So hal takes the statement and makes it a yes or no question. And we've also learned some harfs here. Ala, ba, lam, min, fi, ila. And they have some common meaning, but they don't always have the same meaning. So a common meaning for ala would be upon. A common meaning for ba would be with, or because of, or with the help of. A common meaning for lam, with a kasra at under it, would be for, uh, or because of. Min is commonly translated as from. Fi had a common meaning of in. Ila had a common meaning of towards or to. But those are not the only meaning that these harfs come with. And I strongly urge you to follow along the audios for these conversations at with that MP3 file. Lesson 8 on page 28 is a presentation of the vocabulary in this unit. I'll quickly go through them. Surah, picture. Usra, family. Walid, father. Walida, mother. Jad, grandfather. Jadda, grandmother. Ibn, son. Ibna, daughter. Am, paternal uncle. Amma, paternal aunt. Awlad, children. Shajara, tree. Masjid, place of prayer. House of worship. Musalla, place of salah. Ghurfa, room. Adhan al-Fajr, the Adhan, the announcement of Fajr. Al-Quran, the Book of Allah. Mi'taf, the overcoat. Nadwara, glasses. Hammam, washroom. Yatawadda, he is doing wudu. Yaqra, he is reading. Yusalli, he is praying. Mu'allima, female teacher. And there are some drills that you should listen to according to the file that is in this slide. And on page 30, you will have the new numbers. Just like last unit, we did the first 5 numbers. Wahid, itnan, talata, arba'a, khamsa. We have the next 5 numbers. Sitta, sab'a, thamaniya, tis'a, ashra. And these are the numbers 6 through 10. And the exercises on page 30 are very similar to the exercises that we did for the numbers 1 through 5 in unit 1. Lesson 9 starts on page 31 and is talking about grammatical structure that we've learned in this unit thus far. And we have seen how we can ask or tell where something or someone is. Uh, we can say what they're doing. We can ask or tell who someone is as well. So the first three exercises on page 31 and 32 and 33 would be to exchange the question and answer with your colleague in the examples, and we'll be doing this in class as well. And in exercise 4, you're going to try to do what in the example, and that is shifting from the first person to the third person. So if someone says hada walidi Anwar, the person would say hada waliduhu Anwar. So that we're shifting from the first person, which is walidi, to the third person, which is waliduhu. And on page 34, we see a summary of the grammatical structures, how to ask where someone is, or where what someone is, where or what someone is, where someone or something is, how to ask who someone is, uh, how to say where someone is, how to say what something is in masculine or feminine, how to say who someone is with an additional note just with their name. For example, هذا والدي عمار. This is my father, Ammar. How to say someone's profession. For example, هو مدرس or هي مدرسة. In lesson 10, on page 35, we have two new sounds to talk about, the letter Hamza and the letter Ain. And for both of these, we want to talk about the characteristics of these letters. Hamza comes from the empty part of your mouth and throat. So the only thing is that your mouth is open and your vocal cords are vibrating. Ain comes from the middle part of your throat, closer to the Adam's apple, and it's something that comes by practice. And many times people they have trouble pronouncing this in the beginning because of the throat muscle, they're not used to it. But just like any other muscle, if you keep working on it, the pronunciation becomes clearer and clearer. Hamza is a strong letter, just like we talked about kaf in the last unit being a strong letter, in that it relies strongly on the makhraj of the letter. It relies strongly on the place of pronunciation that the letter comes from. Ain is a medium letter, which means that it would have been strong, but because of the extra action of the throat, it makes it a little softer. And I can't really say that it's go into more detail than that, but that's what makes Ain a little not so hard or not so strong. Um, Hamza and Ain, the breath, the breath should not run for either of them. So if you were to put your hand in front of your mouth, you should not feel any air coming out. And neither of them is awesome, which means that you're not going to say aw, and you're not going to say aw. You're going to say or ah for both of them. The tongue stays low. And if you look on page 35, you'll witness the how they look like when written in the beginning, in the middle of the word, and the end of the word. For example, Hamza is at the beginning of the word. It's written by itself. And then when we see Hamza written in the middle of the word, it is not connected to anything after it. And at the end of the word, again, it's not connected to anything after it either, but sometimes it can be connected to, uh, it's not connected to anything before it either. But if you see it in the middle of the word, it can be connected to what's right of it, to the letter before it. But at the end of the word, you'll see that it's not. On this slide, we see the differences in the meaning between the words when there is ayn as opposed to hamza. Some notable exceptions is the difference between ya'lamun, that they know, and ya'lamun, that they feel pain, or yaqra'u, he's bald, and yaqra'u, he reads, or ja'a, he was hungry, and ja'a, he came. Another difference, wa'ada, he promised. We find that word in the Quran. And wa'ada, if you say wa'ada instead of wa'ada, you will be meaning he buried alive. Ya'muru, he inhabit. Ya'muru, he orders. So there's a difference between these words. Asir, difficult. Asir, prisoner. Ar-ruha is with. Ar-ruha is earth. Atat, she was insolent. Atat, it or she came. So it's very important that we preserve the hamza and the ain when we read them properly. It preserves the meaning. Also in lesson 10 on page 36, there is a section understanding what's heard. So for the exercises, you should listen and then either check or point to the appropriate boxes. You can find your audio at the link below. And lesson 11, speaking. We'll be doing all this stuff in class, exchanging questions and answers, and exchanging conversation, bringing sentences as in the example, and answering questions. Lesson 12 on page 41 is about reading. Um, so the exercise will ask you to look, listen, and read, and connect between the similar words. We know these words, so now we're just trying to focus on reading the words that we already know, so we can be familiar with how the words look. Lesson 42 is very similar. You're gonna look and listen and read, and then you will connect between similar sentences. And the audio for this will be um, at this link. On page 43, we'll see the writing presentation for the letters ba, ta, and tha, and you'll notice how the letters are written according to the position in the word. And you trace the letters with your pen or pencil. You copy the letters. You trace the words, and then you copy the words. And page 44 is just like page 43, except that you will be covering the letters ta, wa, and alif. And you'll notice that alif, just like the letters dal and dal, ra, and za, is never connected to the letter after it. And alhamdulillah, we have reached the end of unit 2. And inshallah, I will see you in class. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.